good evening. You're watching CMR Daily Buzz. It's Wednesday, January 5th. I'm Misha Allinger, and thanks for joining us. Cayman's COVID-19 numbers continue to show that community spread accounts for the vast majority of cases being reported by the Public Health Department. This is according to the latest figures released late on Wednesday evening by interim CMO Dr. Ottilia Newton. 91% of all COVID infections are in the local community. Cayman now has 89 confirmed cases of the Omicron variant, with the probable cases now up to 527. Infection rates in the sister islands remain relatively low, with only 11 cases reported since the last figures were available on Friday, December 31st. In police news, there are several assaults being investigated by the RCIPS at this time, including one that occurred in the early hours of Monday morning. Two men report being beaten up with kicks and punches at the Strand complex on West Bay Road as the two assailants used homophobic remarks at them. One victim sustained a broken nose and they were both transported to the emergency room with non-life-threatening injuries. The police are treating this as a serious hate crime, with Detective Chief Inspector Richard Barrow reminding the public that this type of violence is inexcusable, with no place in our community. In regional news, it was reported exclusively on CMR Tuesday that two Jamaican nationals residing and working in the Cayman Islands were killed in separate incidents whilst vacationing in their home country of Jamaica. 43-year-old Dervin Jones, who works in the local construction industry, was violently gunned down on his birthday, along with his 40-year-old brother Sheldon in Westmoreland. Jones is survived by his common-law wife and 4 children. Friends in the Cayman Islands were shocked by the news, sharing that he was a humble and hardworking man. Another Jamaican construction worker, 50-year-old Rommel Hem, was also killed Monday night in Prospect, Manchester, in the southwest of the island. This was the first murder reported in that parish for 2021. Reports are that murder was related to a robbery at a local bar in the community where they demanded Ham's keys to his rental car. Both men had gone home for the Christmas holidays to spend time with family and loved ones. Turning now to COVID-19 international news, French scientists have identified a new variant B16402 or IHU. Indicators are that one had 46 known mutations, making it more resistant to vaccines and more infectious. Experts at the IHU Mediterranean infection in Marseille said they had discovered the new variant in December in 12 patients living near Marseille, with the first patient testing positive after traveling to the Central African nation of Cameroon. On Wednesday morning, Hong Kong announced it would be banning flight from 8 countries, including United Kingdom, for 2 weeks. The move hopes to curtail the surge of COVID infections recorded in the past week after Hong Kong enjoyed almost 7 months of COVID-free living. Authorities have also locked down several residential buildings linked to emerging Omicron clusters to prevent the spread of the variant in this city. Along with mainland China, the city is one of the few places in the world still pursuing a zero-COVID strategy. The United Kingdom is taking a very different approach to its rising coronavirus infections after it announced that it would not be imposing any tighter restrictions. Instead, they are relaxing rules and shortening isolation periods to allow Britons to return to work faster. In a surprising move, pre-arrival tests for people coming to England will be scrapped, and the need to self-isolate until a negative test will also end. People with a positive lateral flow test with no symptoms will no longer have to take the PCR test starting January 11th. After January 9th, travelers into the UK can book the less expensive lateral flow test instead of a PCR test. That's all for today's news. You can catch us daily at 7:30 p.m. Monday to Friday for the CMR Daily Buzz. This is Misha Allinger. Thank you for watching and stay safe. The United Kingdom is taking a very different approach to its rising coronavirus infections after it announced that it would not be imposing any tighter restrictions. Instead, they are relaxing rules and shortening isolation periods to allow Britons to return to work faster. In a surprising move, pre-arrival tests for people coming to England will be scrapped, and the need to self-isolate until a negative test will also end. People with a positive lateral flow test with no symptoms will no longer have to take the PCR test starting January 11th. After January 9th, travelers into the UK can book the less expensive lateral flow test instead of a PCR test.